Welcome back to Bork Park Gaming, and I'm your host, Jordan. Man, we have spent a lot of time going over CyberConnect with a fine-tooth comb, it seems. But today we're going to turn our attention to the visual novel Telltale. Now, first I want to throw a few disclaimers out there before we get underway. If you're interested in downloading the visual novel, 1. Be sure to read the README file, because if not, your game will be extremely difficult to read. I made the mistake my first read-through, and it essentially looks like a jumble of letters. It was a fun time, yes. 2. This visual novel is very M-rated. There's a skippable sex scene about halfway through, but there are also some additional descriptions and references to sex contained within various dialogue throughout. I did my best to censor it in the version that I have uploaded on YouTube, partially to meet YouTube's standards and requirements, because I don't want to get banned on our second video. That would be absolutely terrible. And also I was aiming to make this channel safe for work, or as safe as work as possible. So yeah. I, on the other hand, was completely unaware of this fact the first time I read through Telltale, and I wanted to help spread some awareness about that. If you came in knowing this beforehand, good for you. You did better than I did. Alright, and number 3, this visual novel was developed for computers around the era of Windows either 95, 98, or Me. So it has some functionality issues with newer platforms. The visual novel worked perfectly fine with my Windows 7. On Windows 10, it crashed roughly every 10 minutes. But I can't exactly confirm if that's a Windows 10 related error, or if it's the localization software having an issue. I think it might be Windows 10 though, but it didn't seem to crash as much whenever I turned off the localization software. And just to let you know, the localization software thing, that's used to make it so the letters don't look like a bunch of, a mess. So I'm hoping that it's more related to the one that I downloaded and not actually a Windows 10 error, because that would be really bad. And I guess with those warnings out of the way, let us dive into Telltale. Alright, the visuals of this visual novel aren't exactly the most exciting in the world, and there isn't much movement, but overall they're not really bad, or even terrible at that. Of course, I don't mean saying that it's not the most exciting as a bad thing, seeing as it's pretty much the standard fare wherever you go. Plus, this visual novel is a bit old. If you take a look at God, what is it? That has almost no changing visuals. It's pretty much just one thin band of a watercolor painting, but I love it. So, the art contained within Telltale is very clean. It looks professional, and it helps you maintain a sense of awareness in the world. You always know what you're looking at, so there's no major complaints there regarding the art. The soundtrack for the game is a bit underwhelming. It's not bad when you listen to it in small, short chunks, but there's only a handful of songs. I think it's roughly about 4 or 5, and they can get rather old kind of quickly. I'll make some excuses for Telltale and the fact that it was intended to be kind of like a smaller game, because it's technically part of a set, and it was designed for the 90s, so there's some memory space issues there as well. Ultimately though, I just kind of tuned it out for a bit, so I kind of considered it a non-factor. When you're paying attention to it, alright, but you kind of forget about it after a while, so. Some readers, however, might be bothered a little bit by the soundtrack though, because it has some of the songs are a bit high-pitched and repetitive, so just be mindful of that. And I guess finally, the main focus of this review is the story of Telltale, as kind of with all visual novels. The simplest way of describing the plot in a very simplified manner is practically calling it Romeo and Juliet. While there are some major points by which the plot deviates, the influence is definitely there. The setting is an area with 2 feuding parties, different by pretty much only a minute detail. In Shakespeare, it's mostly their names, while in Telltale it's by their tale. 2 people fall in love, one supposedly, but as we learn later on, not really a striped tale, and one a fluffy tale. Ran, aka our Juliet, is under the ownership of Bernard, which for the sake of this analysis is close enough to Juliet's impending marriage to Paris that we're just going to call it that, even though I know they're not really that similar. There's also the whole, like, suicide to escape thing, but this one actually worked. It was less stupid. Now, obviously, we also have new elements like Rick trying to build a plane to explore the world beyond the clouds, and Nap, the dying brother, to spice up the kind of played out story, but even those still have some similarities to Romeo and Juliet. Overall, though, I have to say that the story is a little bit on the slow side. It has its moments, but like the sequence where Rain is rescued, and the finale sequence, and little snippets in here and there, but generally, Telltale takes its time to get to the exciting parts. Now, I don't particularly mind that as much, because what made it slow was the inclusion of scenes depicting home life for Rick, Nap, and Ram. And I can almost never say no to stuff like that, but I understand not everybody enjoys it. So how do I feel about the novel as a whole package? It's kind of average. Nothing really made me explicitly remember it, neither good or bad reasons, it's just kind of there. So take that for what you will from this assessment, but I would give it roughly about a 6 out of 10. Now, before I go, I thought I would mention a few things. First off, is that Telltale was originally uploaded on our sister channel, Bebop Gaming, and the video can be either accessed on Bebop or through the visual novels playlist here on this channel. The same thing goes for, I'm pretty sure it's Solo to Robo, too. The two reasons why I didn't want to move over the footages is that first, I recorded it so long ago that I would actually have to re-record the entire game again. And if it crashes about every 10 minutes, you can imagine that's not exactly the most pleasant thing to do with, you know, the fact that the copy's already served, like, works. So there's no need for that. Also, the second is that I did break up the video into, like, all those chunks so you can actually see what the choices are, how they matter, or how they don't matter. And doing that takes a bit of extra time in editing, especially at 4K. It increases the rendering time, and it's a pain in the butt. So, since it works, I'm just going to leave it. Also, the next bit of news that we're going to go on to is that I'm attempting to see if there's any method by which we can get a Little Tale Stories, the Japanese-only mobile MMORPG that was made by CyberConnect, but was closed down in 2014 to be anyway partially functional. While preliminary research says that's pretty much an impossible task, I did manage to find a APK, the Android version, like, of the actual, like, app of the game. So I've been trying to look into that to see what all that would require. But the issue is, since it's a server-hosted thing, we need to get the files from Bandai Namco. But I'm hoping that maybe there might be a little bit more of a chance for, like, cooperation. If I saw some places that there's a chance that copyright law could get changed so that closed MMO games no longer are, like, covered under copyright. So maybe we'll get some help there, but I doubt that will do much. But if you're interested in trying to help out, that would be marvelous, because I don't really understand coding for Androids. Yeah. And finally, I still plan on trying to get a February Game of the Month, but yeah, it's really coming out late. I've been busy doing a lot of other things, mostly school and trying to get work-related stuff. So, who knows? I really badly wanted to do a Dust and Elysian Tale for this month, but I don't have the copy with me because it's on my Xbox 360. I don't have that with me right now. So that might be March. But if I do get a game up, it will definitely be before the end of the month, obviously. I wanted to do it by the end of this week, but then I realized that Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet was coming out on Friday, and that's what I'm going to be spending my Friday doing. So, yeah. By Thursday, though, on the other hand, if I decide that I want to live stream Fatal Bullet for you all, I'll let you know Thursday. So if you're interested in that, it'll be on Friday. So yeah. Alright, well that should be everything. So until next time, you fluff balls, enjoy yourself. Bye.